Hello everyone. Take a look at this really cool audio player. Uh, this has also got that cool visualizer, and we will see how to build this. We'll have a nice code walkthrough. So let's get started. So here we are at our code editor, and let me show you what files we have first. So we got this index.html, JavaScript and CSS files, and we are just going to use vanilla JavaScript. Let's keep it simple. And this audio file that we want to play, the music from Ben Sound. Ben Sound is a website where I get some music from. And you can see the HTML page has some very basic boilerplate. This is, I have used, the native HTML audio player, and I have connected the script. The script is blank, and in style.css, what I have done is I have put everything in the center using flexbox, and then I have like in the video you will see in the corner there will be a white box with the audio player where you can see that audio player, and that is actually a part of the browser that is cut out and put in the video. So whatever changes I make here, that will be displayed up there. And actually I am showing this in the browser via this live server extension. You can see the stop live server. I have already started the live server, so whatever changes I make here will be displayed in that small cutout, which is actually our browser. So let's get started with it. Now you can see that we have this simple audio player. It doesn't do much. It can play the music, but it's not really that good looking, and we don't have all that custom control over that. So to get started, I'll just paste some of the code here. So in this code, we can see that, like a div with audio player, and there is this canvas where we will draw that visualization, and all these are controls, the play button and the seek bar and all those things, and I'll come to this later. So let's first focus on the visualizer. We will create the visualizer first, and then we will put life in those controls. So let's see. Now, how should we go ahead and create our visualizer? That is the question that we should ask ourselves. Now, the visualizer is actually the graph which shows how the audio is going on, right? So for that we need to extract data out of the audio, the frequency data out of the audio, and plot them on that canvas. Now to do these kinds of things, to do all these things, we actually can use a native browser API called Web Audio API. And the Web Audio API will actually let us take frequency data from the audio, and we can do whatever we want with it. Now, to talk about Web Audio API, you can imagine it as a graph of audio nodes, where we can take audio from a source, play that somewhere, and in between I can put more nodes so that and process the audio, analyze the audio, and do all kinds of stuff with it. So for that, we will need to use Web Audio API. We'll actually have to make an object of the audio context, and audio context will give us the means to control Web Audio API and do amazing stuff. Let's also get our audio element, because we will source our data or source our audio from this audio element. Now we also want to get our canvas element, the HTML element, and the canvas context. Now if you haven't used canvas before, then this canvas context is something which will let us to draw on that canvas that we have created, and we'll see how we can do that. Let's take these two values, put it in some constants, the width and the height of the canvas element, and then let's go ahead and talk a bit more about the Web Audio API. So as I told you, in the Web Audio API, it's a graph of audio nodes, and for the graph we first need a source, the source node, where we're getting the audio into the graph. To do that, I'll write something like this, where I'm creating a source, in this case a media element source, and there can be a number of sources, right? The source can be your mic, the source can be anything. But here what we're doing is we're creating a media element source, which is essentially our audio element. So whatever data or whatever music is being played in the audio element, that we can access that data from our web audio API. Now to get that frequency data, now we are plotting frequency data on the screen, right, on the canvas. So to get the data, we actually need a node called the analyzer node. So I'm saying analyzer equals to audio context dot create analyzer. So the analyzer node would actually give us all the frequency data. Now I'm not sure how the math around this works, but it actually does some fast Fourier transform and samples the audio. It samples the audio and creates frequency bins, and we will plot each frequency bin and make our bars, and we're going to see in detail how to do that. So we have to give a kind of a parameter for the fast Fourier size sampling, and we will set that to 56. Now in a web audio API, we have to first then connect the graph. We created our nodes, but then we have to connect the nodes, right? That's what happens in a graph. So I'll say source dot connect analyzer, right? So I've connected my source to the analyzer, and then I'll connect my analyzer to the audio context dot destination. So what this does is it actually first connects the source to the analyzer, and from that analyzer it connects it to the destination meaning our speakers. Now the analyzer node will give us the data, and we can actually draw our stuff. So let's create these variables called the buffer length and the data array. Now the buffer length is actually the number of frequency bins that we have. Now what do you mean by bins? I don't know the exact math behind it, but the analyzer will sample the audio and create separate frequency bins, and each sample each bin would have a certain frequency, and that will be our bar height. And to read that data, to get that data from analyzer, we will make this buffer called data array, and this will be of type uint8 array. Now uint8 array, if you don't know about JavaScript typed arrays, then it's like an array of integers of 8-bit long, so 1 byte long integers, and those integers are also unsigned. So we will have uint8 array, and we will have the data in it. So next we will define our draw function. Now I'll copy the draw function from my reference code, and we will take a walkthrough in this. So let's see what this draw function is all about. So let's try to understand the draw function. The first line, analyzer.get frequency data, actually puts all the frequency data into the data array that we are passing, and this data array would help us to draw our bars, right, as I told you. Then we are doing some of the canvas stuff. We are making the fill style to be RGB222, that's a nice black color, and then we are clearing the canvas. Now by clearing the canvas, I mean that I am actually drawing a big black rectangle because our background color is black. That means we are clearing the screen. Now then we are trying to calculate the width of the bar. Now width of the bar would be the width of the full screen. Then we will divide it by buffer length. That means we know how many bars should be there, and then we are multiplying it by 2.5 to give it a bit of thickness, so that our bar won't be like too thin, right? Okay, next we will actually iterate through our data array and draw them on screen, draw those bars on the screen. Now as I told you, the data array would determine the height of my bar, right? But we cannot just take the absolute value of data array and draw it, because it might be too tall for our canvas, and then you will just see some blue lines, some blue bars, and they won't move at all. So what we are doing is we are taking the bar height as data array of I divided by 2.8, and 2.8 is a constant that I have tweaked around and got. So we are making it a bit smaller. We are making the data, the value a bit smaller so that the bars actually fit on our canvas. And then we are making the fill style to be kind of a blue color, and we want a foreground of blue and the background of black, which we have done here. Now then we are also drawing a rectangle. Now in rectangle, while drawing a rectangle in the canvas, what you have to do is you have to give the top left corner and the top left corner's x and y coordinates and the width and the height of the rectangle. Now we know that the x coordinate of the top left would be x, and we will be calculating x. We will see how we will exactly change x after every iteration. Initially x is 0. So we know that the x coordinate would be certainly x, and for the y coordinate what we are doing is we are taking the height of the array, the full height of the array, and we are subtracting bar height from it. So that way we will get the top left corner's y-axis because of the the height, and we are taking away the bar height, so we get the point, right? And then we have to pass the width and the height. So the width will be bar width that we calculated and the bar height that we are calculating here. And then I'm increasing the x by bar width plus 1. So we know how wide a bar should be. So we are taking the x value and we are incrementing it. So for the next bar that we will be drawing, the x coordinate would be increased past the current bar. So at the end, we will call request animation frame and pass a draw in it. Now, if you don't know about request animation frame, I won't really like to go into the depths of it. For now, you can understand that request animation frame kinds of call this function every time the browser draws new stuff on the screen. We don't need to understand the details of it, but let's say it will call the function about 60 times a second with 60 Hertz. It might go up and down depending on what kind of hardware you have, what kind of refresh rates you are actually putting on the browser. So, but for now, request animation frame will help us to call the function again and again so that our bars will move up and down smoothly. And then we are calling the draw function outside. Now, if we go ahead and play our music, we can see the bars coming out and everything moving nicely. So guys, we are done with our visualizer. So now what we will do is we will remove this audio element out of sight and then give this controls a bit of power to control the audio. So to do that, first what I'll do is I'll take the audio element, and make its display to be none. The audio element goes, and what we have left with is this bare bone structure. Now if I press this play button now, obviously nothing happens, but our job would be to give that life. So in the HTML file, you can see that I have made this control buttons, and for the icons I have used the material icons font, put this range input, which is the seek bar, and another range input for the volume. So we will see how to actually use them. To use them, first we have to get references for each of them. Let me copy and paste the code for all of this. So we are getting the reference for the play pause button, the seek bar, and the volume bar. The seek bar would be used to seek anywhere between the music, and the volume bar, as the name suggests. I'll also keep these constants handy. These are actually the HTML for the play, pause, and the replay icons. Not a very elegant way to do this, but we are trying to do this quick and dirty, aren't we? This is not production level code. Right. Now I'll also keep a object called the audio state. Let me put it here. It will actually tell us if we should render the replay button or is the audio paused, and we will see how we will be using these things. And then let's set our seek bar and our volume bar to its default values. Now the seek bar would be 0 because we want to start with the 0th time or from 0 seconds in the audio, and the volume bar we want 100% volume by default. So the next step that we want to do is we want to add some event listeners. So let's go ahead with our first event listener, which is let me write them here, which is the click event listener for the button, which will actually play pause our audio. Let's go ahead and do the play pause thing, right? So this is our full code for toggle play pause. Now you might have noticed I've kept this audio ctx.resume call, and this is due to, because see, web audio API give this weird error that if you're refreshing the page, then on the first user interaction with the page, the resume needs to be called for a web audio API to work properly. So I'm calling resume on the audio context when a person presses play, because that would probably be the first interaction after which audio is needed. And then what I'm trying to do is, if I'm checking if the audio state, which we declared here, if it's paused, right? If it's already paused, then I'll play the audio element. And audio element, guys, remember that's the reference to the HTML5 default audio element that we had where we loaded our music. So we are playing this programmatically, and for replay 2 we will be playing that. And see, when I'm going from pause to play, the icon should say pause, and when I'll be going from play to pause, the icon should say play. And there is also this special case for replay, and replay will come up when the audio has finished playing, and then it won't actually show the play button, it actually show the replay button. On clicking the replay, the audio will reset and we will hear everything again. If the audio state is not in pause state and also not in replay state, that means the audio is still playing, right? And what we will do is we will pause the audio, because we want to go from play state to the pause state, and we will also make the icon to be play, because after it goes to a pause state, we want to show the play icon so that the user clicks on it and then the audio plays. And then what I'm doing is I'm toggling the paused variable that we have, the state that we have. So we are saying that paused should be equal to not audio state.isPaused. So if it's true, then it will become false. If it's false, then it will become true. Also notice when the audio is in the replay state, the audio state is replay, I'm actually returning. I'm not doing this audio state play or paused, because replay is where the audio has ended, is not actually a play state or a pause state. It's the audio end state. And after replay, we're resetting everything. So we are not going to touch the isPaused state. So we are just returning. So let's see if our play button is actually working. So we can see that the play button actually works. Now let's go ahead with our next things, and we are progressing pretty good. We are progressing pretty fast. I'll actually make a GitHub repo of the code, and that will be in the description. So go to the description and you can take a look of the code for yourself, and maybe fork the code and make your own versions. Link them in the comments. I like to see them. Love to see them actually. So now we will be talking about how do we actually use the seek bar to seek the audio, right? We will actually be talking about that. So to do that, I'll copy these 3 add event listener calls, and you can see that the canvas just vanished, because this add event listeners won't be actually working right now because we haven't defined these functions, and we will be defining these functions, and we will see how the seek bar can work. So first of all, the set progress, right? Now on the audio element, I have kept the event listener of time update. So that means the set progress function would be called every time there is a time update event launched from the song. So whenever the song plays a bit, whenever the song, let's say, moves from 0 second to 2 seconds, then this function would be called, and we will get how much the song the song has progressed. So this means like on progress, something like that. And we will call the set progress function. We'll define that function, and we will set the seek bar's value to be the audio element's current time. So now look at this, guys. The seek bar's maximum value wouldn't be like, it can be less or more than whatever current time will return. So the seek bar value ranges from 0 to 100. Now the current time may return 100, current time may return 1000, 2000, whatever it wants. Now we don't really know that, right? So when our audio is ready, which we can know from the can play event listener on the audio element, so whenever it's ready, what we will do is we will call the set duration function. And in the set duration function, what we will do is we will make the seek bar dot max value to be the audio element dot duration. Now duration will hold the length of the song in time, and we will make our seek bar of that size. Now it won't actually change the physical size of the range input that we have here, but it will happen in terms of percentage, right? So now there is only one function that has remained to be declared, and that's the on-end function that will be called, as the name suggests, when the audio ends. So I'll actually copy paste the code here, and what I'll be doing here now, here the is replay state is being made true, because when the audio ends we want to give that replay icon and we want to say that it's replay. So I'm changing the state of the play pause button to the replay icon, setting the current time to be 0, the seek bar value to be 0. And as I showed you in toggle play pause, that whenever it is in replay mode, it will actually play, make this replay false, and it will directly go from replay mode to play mode, and then we can again click on that to put that from play mode to pause mode, right? So let's try and see if our seek bar is working. So yeah, it's working, but you see, you can see that whenever I'm clicking somewhere, it is actually not moving the audio there. Now we want to actually let users to click anywhere and seek the audio. How can we do that? Now to do that, we can do something very simple, that we will catch the event input from the seek bar itself. Now we will have to define the onSeek function. So the onSeek function's code is actually pretty simple. Let me show you the code. So it's nothing but a reversal of this set progress function, where we were setting the value of the seek bar from the audio element's current time, and here we will do the opposite. We will set the audio element's current time from the value of the seek bar. So let us try this, and we can see it is properly working, right? Now the only thing left is our volume bar, which shouldn't be very difficult, right? I think you guys can already guess how we will be doing that. So as in seek bar, we will be also listening to the input event from the volume bar, and what we will do is we will be implementing this on volume seek method. So for that, again, it's a very simple function. We will be just setting the audio element dot volume to be the value from the seek bar to be divided by 100. Now why divided by 100? Because the volume should be in the range from 0 to 1. So if it's 50% volume, you want to give 0.5. So we are dividing the value that the range input will provide us, which is in 0 to 100, and then we are dividing it by 100 to get a value within 0 to 1. Let's see if that is working for us. Yeah, you can actually see that we can manipulate the volume, right? Pretty cool. So we are actually done with our script. We have actually made the functionalities. We have actually made a functional audio player. Let's now take a look at the styles. We will take a very small look at it. CSS is kind of boring, I think, guys. I really don't like writing CSS, but as a web dev, you gotta write CSS. No escaping that. So we will actually try to see how we are styling this, the range inputs, the seek bars, because in the actual audio player, if I pull it up, you will see these look very nice with the, the gray background, and there is this black thumb. Here we have a blue background and that black thumb. So we actually want this for our version 2. How will we do that? So this is a bunch of rules that you should know, which is, let me paste a bunch of code here. I really don't want to live code this shit. So you see in the seek bar, so in the range input, what happens is we cannot actually take the full element and style it. We'll actually have to take the specific elements, maybe the thumb, and we are then styling the thumb, and one for WebKit, one for Mozilla, and then we are taking the track, which is the background, and then we are styling it, and one for WebKit and one for Mozilla. I don't really like that. Still we have to use browser browser suffixes for everything, but yeah, that is how the world is. So what we are doing here is essentially we are taking each component, the thumb and the track, and then we are styling it individually. You can see I've set the height, the width, the color, and for the background too I have set the width, the height, the color, and everything. And now that our seek bar is in order, we will do all these same things for the volume bar too. Let me again copy paste all the code here. So the volume bar, what I am doing here is again the same. I am first making, first what we are doing, guys, is actually we are taking the original element and we are making them vanish. We are actually making them disappear, and then we are styling the individual elements. So as you can see here, again I have done the same that we were doing here, but here in the track, in the background, I have kept the background to be this nice blue color, so that everything looks fine. Now we are done with our bars, our seek bars. Let me put the styles for the button too, the play pause button. It won't be anything much. It would just make the background disappear and put this nice blue color for the play and pause icons. Let me now, what I want to do is actually look at this, guys. The audio icon is up, the seek bar is down, this icon is also a bit up. This doesn't look very pleasant, and we are pleasant people, right? So I'll use this controls class, which will actually put them in a flex box and align them nicely. And then let me copy the audio player class, which will actually put them in a nice audio box. And look, what have we here? What do we have here? It's the same audio player that I showed you before, right? So we get our absolutely functional complete audio player. And guys, that will be it for this video. Let's do one. No, it's not it for the video. I found such a nice background for this audio player. I should put this here. So let me see if I've got that. Yeah, I've got that. So in the background, I think that's the first rule. Yeah, in the background, let me put the background, the nice SVG background, the waves. Yeah. So finally we are done with our audio player. Would love to see how you guys actually improvise on this and make your own versions. Hope this was a nice one for you. If you liked it, leave a like, and if you're new, subscribe to the channel. Share it among your friends. Spread the love. Make programming videos spread faster than COVID, right? Then we will reach somewhere. So guys, that's it for today. See you in the next video.